For today's lesson, we will look into electrolysis of sodium chloride in liquid form, sodium chloride in aqueous form, and sodium chloride in concentrated form. If you look at the cation are ions that are going to be attracted to cathode. They are generally positive ions. Anions are ions that are attracted to anode, and they are negative ions. In sodium chloride, molten form, there are only two types of ions, which is sodium ions and chloride ions. Sodium ions are cations and chloride ions are negative ions. And if you look over here, okay, positive terminal will attract negative ions, okay, and negative terminal will actually attract the positive ions. Sodium will go to the negative terminal, chloride ions will go to the negative terminal. Therefore, you will have the chloride ions to be discharged to give you Cl2 and sodium ions to be discharged to give you sodium. But in sodium chloride in aqueous form, you do have water and you do have hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions. The positive ions are sodium ions and hydrogen ions, which is going to be lower in reactivity series, which is hydrogen ions will be selected to be discharged, and hydroxide ions, which is going to be smaller and easier to discharge, will be selected compared to Cl- ions. For the reaction at anode, you still need to remember what is going to be the equation for hydroxide ions discharge. And these hydroxide ions are going to be discharged to give you water and oxygen, and you can memorize the equation that is given over there. But meanwhile, in sodium chloride concentrated form, we do have 4 ions, but we still select hydrogen ions because they are still lower in reactivity series. Chloride ions will be selected in this case because the concentration of chloride ions is more than the concentration of hydroxide ions. Therefore, it is very important to remember this. Concentration affects the ions selected at the anode. The concentration of chloride ions is very important when it comes to sodium chloride concentrated, and do remember that the concentration of sodium ions is not affected, and you need to follow the reactivity series. That's a summary for today's lesson. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe to BBSPIK Chemistry. Thank you everyone.